Today I've got a bit of a Microsoft themed video for you, and the first of which is a little bit unusual, but something that I find interesting, as this topic does come up a lot when we're talking about how digital gaming is becoming more and more prolific and how it won't really ever replace retail until we've dealt with the fact that a lot of people just don't have good internet because of where they live, even in the US. Just some people only have the one internet provider, and that internet provider has no motivation to actually provide them a good service because, well, why would they? They have no competition within that space, and some people just, are living out in the boonies and don't have many options, and we see that in various countries and that as well. But Microsoft are planning on using television signals to bring high-speed internet to parts of America that previously didn't have access to it. And especially for PC gaming, digital is basically mandatory. Even when you buy a physical game these days, it basically is a disc or a Steam code, sometimes both. And that's pretty much happened to me when I bought Resident Evil 7 off Amazon. It was just, hey, here's a disc, but here's just a Steam code, and you were about to download it anyway. So if you're stuck in an area with crappy internet, that's obviously going to put you off PC gaming, given that it's going to take you about 4 days just to download a basic game, given that most games range in the 40 to 60 gigabyte range a lot of the time. Basically, their plan is to improve broadband services in rural parts of America by using white space, which is basically unused frequencies in the wireless signal that televisions use to broadcast. And basically, Microsoft are hoping this will help eliminate the broadband issues of 2 million Americans who live in rural areas in the space of the next 5 years. Now, interestingly enough, this project has already taken place in other countries such as Tanzania and Colombia, Taiwan, and even it has taken place in some parts of the UK, because we also have a similar issue where if you don't live in or around London or a major city, good luck to you, basically. And the effort in the UK has actually been the effort of a combination of UK tech and media companies, including, of course, Microsoft, to help basically meet the demand of more and more people wanting not only the internet in general, but an actual good connection as well. For those of you wondering, the initial targets are Arizona, Georgia, Kansas, Maine, Michigan, New York, North Dakota, South Dakota, Texas, Virginia, Washington, and Wisconsin, according to a spokesperson who spoke to Recode. So, this isn't going to fix all of our ills. There are obviously numerous issues, which I will include the link to the Recode article in the description below this video, so just give it a read if you're interested in the ins and out of it. But it's good to see that companies who are, of course, kind of pushing for more and more digital, kind of realising, hey, we need to fix this or it's not going to happen, basically. But on that very same topic is, of course, the Xbox One X. It is still a few months away, but we all know that it's going to be here before we know it, because these years seem to be going by faster and faster, and it feels like it was only just January, but it's already July, so there you go. And of course there's been a lot of comments on the Xbox One X and whether or not it can actually compete, not only versus obviously the Pro and everything else, but a high-end PC. That's his main contender now, is high-end PC. And there were some comments made by Adolfo Aguirre, whose name I probably just butchered, so please forgive me, a marketing and PR manager who's currently working on a game for the Xbox One, PS4 and PC by the name of Mukala, and basically was asked what he thought about the Xbox One X's power. And he said, quotes, "The Xbox One X is a beast of a machine, and we can't wait to see what we could do with it. It doesn't overpower the most high-end machines, but it's an absolutely powerful console that can stand side by side with some of the greatest PCs." And to be honest, for the price, he's not wrong. you would struggle to match the Xbox One X for around the same sort of price tag, to be honest, because the machine is pretty damn powerful. But moving swiftly on from that, as of course we can only wait and see as to what's going to happen with the X and its sales, how well it's received, what happens in the PC market, what happens in the console market. All of this is going to be in the future. We can speculate, but it is just going to be pure speculation, and sadly only time will tell. But there have been rumours going around that the Xbox One X is going to be delayed till spring of 2018. Phil Spencer has been quick on the trigger to say, no, that's not true. And he said on Twitter, quote, "Still on track for November 7th, feeling good about that date." So it just seems that that's the usual sort of baseless rumours that raise their heads every now and again just to annoy everybody and cause a load of issues on places like, well, Twitter. And finally, we're going to finish up our lovely little roundup with some Gamescom news. And Microsoft have said that they are going to be having the Xbox One X playable on the show floor for Gamescom 2017. So for those of you who are going or thinking of going, this is definitely an upside if you're wondering whether or not this machine is actually worth your cash, or if you just want to see the thing in action. Because to be fair, it is quite a nice looking machine, and I wouldn't mind having a go in it myself. Obviously, they're going to have their usual share of announcements and news and that sort of stuff, but they're also going to be celebrating the 20th anniversary of Age of Empires, but they're also going to be letting you have a look at the definitive edition of that very same game, and there's going to be some quote-unquote exciting news regarding this, which may or may not mean a new game, or maybe another remaster. Regardless of what it is, it's going to be something new regarding Age of Empires, which I'm sure has your imagination turning as I talk. As for the games that will be playable, don't have a full list to hand sadly, but Age of Empires Definitive will be playable, as well as Forza 7 and Sea of Thieves, which would be quite nice to play on the show floor. I reckon that will be going down quite the treat. So, for those of you wondering, it's going to be 22nd of August to the 26th in Cologne, Germany. It's always an interesting one, because it's a kind of a toss-up whether or not the Japanese developers and publishers and Sony and Nintendo, blah blah blah, actually bother to turn up. Sony said they were considering it back at E3, but we haven't had any news, so it tends to be more dominated by people like Microsoft and obviously developers who, you know, have more, shall we say, local branches. But it's going to be interesting nonetheless. This is going to be one of the first times outside of E3, obviously, that players can just, you know, get their hands on it, see what it's like, see the quality of the machine, the controller, that sort of thing, and obviously actually play a game running on the Xbox One X and get some feedback. Obviously, we have had some from the E3 show floor, but it would be nice to obviously just get more of it. So, there we have it. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I will see you next time.